Hey folks, Eric Wooldridge here of the Additive Guru channel, and today we are going to design a new product, do a little walkthrough for you. Nothing really special, but we did get a request to do a type of soap, bar of soap holder. Many showers and tub situations, they'll have those wire frames that you can attach to different things and take care of all your toiletry, so to speak, while in the shower. And the request was, let's make something that can handle a bar of soap to make it a little bit more convenient to grab onto, but something that actually hangs from those wires. And so what we have here is a very simple kind of design. It's going to be some kind of little cup system with a separate piece. You'll notice that I have offset the hook in the design so that it can print from this direction without having to have any support material. And we'll probably have to do something down here a little bit for that as well, but we'll take care of that in a few moments. This design may also be optimized for lattice structure design, but as far as this phase of it, we'll design it just simple and straightforward. We'll also use a different approach. So instead of using a lot of dimensions, we'll design it for sort of a dimensionless approach. What we will design is we will at least model what the bar of soap size is and the wire or the frame that's going to hook over size is, and the rest of it we're just going to kind of freehand, given the advantages of using an organic design approach with additive. So we're going to assume the bar of soap is roughly 40. We'll do a pretty nice size here, so we're going to say the bar of soap, maybe not 40, that might be a little bit exaggerated. Let's say the bar of soap will be about 35. Give us a little clearance there too, and we'll say that the bar of soap is 90 units tall. Now as far as length, we can go ahead and assume that it could be a 90 by 90 if we want to, but that won't matter in the first part of the approach. So let's start off with it. I'm going to go to Fusion here, start up a new sketch, and the first thing I want to do is switch to line tool and switch to construction line type, making sure my little fly out sketch palette here is turned on, and I'm going to draw a rectangle. Maybe I'll use a rectangle command, and I'm going to make it about 90-ish by 35, 36-ish, and there we go. So this represents my bar of soap. And while we're here, we'll go ahead and say that the wire frame system is 6 diameter and right there. So at this point in time, I have my bar of soap, and we'll say that we want this thing to sit such that the wire is fairly close to the bar of soap, so there's not a lot of leaning based off of gravity effect. Now we could put it over here, but that would create problems with us actually designing around it. So I'm going to design for the soap to be about that far away from the wire. And of course we can probably get a little bit closer because we can assume this thing can lean. So with these two things created, that's sort of the key elements here. The rest of it I can switch away from the construction line, and I can design the actual sort of housing just using a very nice spline here, and I'll get to about right there, and I'll say check mark, and I'll do a quick offset command, typing in O, select the line, and I'm going to make it around actually 8 units in thickness. Of course we're talking millimeters. And the reason I'm doing this is because we may turn around and lattice it, and so therefore the thickness is not really correct in terms of what we're actually doing. So what I have here is a cross section that I can now manipulate. We'll go ahead and say that's going to be 8. I have a cross section that I can fully manipulate here and adjust around my bar of soap. So I can kind of pull. I'm not worried too much about constraints here. Pulling in a little bit tighter there. Maybe I'll give it a little bit of flare, sort of hanging out to allow the bar of soap to tilt a little bit, but maybe not too much because I don't want to, when it gets worn down, to not be grippable. And we'll try something like that. Again, notice that I'm not spending a whole lot of time trying to get an exact dimensional control. I'm just kind of working to the key shape, and that is the bar of soap. Now of course I have to deal with what's going on here, but I can handle that separately with a new feature down the road. In fact, I may just leave this, tighten this up just a hair, pull it in a little bit more, and be just fine. So, pretty quick and easy process. All I have to do now is if I like it, I can, whatever shape that I like, I can do. And that kind of looks good to me. Made it, again, just a little bit of a hangout so the actual bar of soap will tilt out. All right, so why don't you go ahead and pause the video and kind of get to where I am. All right, so now I'm good there. So I'm gonna say finish sketch. And I'm going to extrude this shape. And we'll say that it's going to be, we'll say 90. That'd be fine. We can always come back and change it later if we need to. All right. So we now have our creation. Now obviously we can't have the soap slipping at this side or that side, so we're going to have to do something to kind of close this in, which is going to be real quick and easy. I click on create sketch, and I'll highlight that surface, and then what I'll do is I'll use my project include project, tell it to select that outline, and then I can just use another spline to click there, maybe a couple of clicks here, make a little basket effect there, and the plus mark or check mark, and now I have something that will kind of enclose it. Finish sketch, and I hit extrude, select it, and I want it to go back the other direction, maybe -8, and make sure it says join. Now at this point, since I'm going back so far, like 8 units, I might consider increasing my extrusion from the last time, add a little bit more, but we'll take care of that in a second. Now you may notice at this point in time that I need to do it on the other side as well, and you may say, well, let's just go do the same thing, and I could, or I can do this handy trick. I'll go to construct, midplane, select this surface, select that surface, and it creates a plane between the two. Hit OK. And I'll use this plane to do a mirror of the other one. So I'll say mirror. I'll select this feature right here. And then I'll select, not to be faces, but actually bodies or features. Let's go feature. This one. And then I'll say mirror plane select this one. And there we go. And now I have a nice handy little pocket there. And I do realize that I've lost essentially 16 units because of that. And as a result, what I'll probably do is extrude this a little bit further. And said I'll just take it on up to 100. That'd be fine. And the reason I set up the midplane and did all that is because it makes it super easy to just have to fix one side versus the other. And there we go. All right, so that's what we have so far. Go ahead and pause the video and catch up to there. All right, so the next step is designing in the hook system that is going to hook over the wire as it comes across. And to do that, I want to have a little bit of a game plan. My game plan is this, is that I want it to 3D print in this direction. So coming this way across the screen, and therefore this is going to be the base where the part is actually being printed from. So I want to start my hook system there. Now you'll remember in my first sketch, I think I did an extra sketch I don't need here. Let's get delete there. You remember our first sketch, I drew that circle, but you don't see that sketch anymore. Well, you can always turn sketches back on by clicking right here, and we can re-see our little point where that's supposed to be. Now, at this point in time, I want to actually sketch from this plane. So I will hit New Sketch, and I will select this surface. Now I can see my circle. Also, I don't like the extra plane showing up while I'm working, so I'm going to tell it to turn that one off so I can see something. There we go. And I'm essentially going to design a hook around this. It'll be pretty easy to do. And you got to be a little bit careful. You got to make sure you have like a way to route the wire or route the feature in. So I'm going to just click here. Oh wait, I have to hit project geometry. Project include, project. There we go. Hit OK. Now I can click on features. And I'm going to just sort of wrap around and do something like that. All right, now I could do a quick offset. That's never a problem to do. Offset, again, 8, and you see it tightens up a little bit too much. In this case, I don't actually need it to be 8 because I probably won't lattice this. So I might take this down to 6, and that will be just fine, as you can see there. Hit OK. And then I will finish it up by just, grabbing that line. Maybe it'll let me do it. No, it's going to do something funky there. So I'll just grab this line, click here, and there, close it off. And close that off there too. And as you can see, there's a lot of kind of unnatural shaping going on. So I can grab these two grip points and kind of reshape it a little bit better. We also don't really need this thing to be a full 6 units in thickness because it's going to be a solid, it won't be latticed. So I hit 5, there we go. Now there is another catch to this problem, and this may be above the scope of what you're working with at this point in time, but when you do some latticing work like this, you may not always want to pull that back. I don't need that much hook and hanger for this to work. Maybe a little bit right there. When you do some lattice, sometimes you need a solid to be separate from the rest of the object, so I'm actually going to do something funky, and I am going to add something to this feature by just coming down, straight across, and back up. And you may ask, well, what am I doing with this? Well, I'm going to actually make this part of the overall creation be a solid part, the rest of it be lattice, and therefore I need to have like an interference zone where the lattice can bond with the solid. Alright, so anyway, I've got a shape there. It kind of looks the way I want it to look, maybe rounding just a little bit more there and there. But this should allow the hook or the wire to go in and hang. If I was a little bit more cautious, I can pull it down just a little bit more. Just got to make sure it goes in there. And that should reduce the amount of tilt this thing generates. Although it's probably going to tilt some just because we don't have another support point. Anyway, we've got that creation done. And if you want to, you can pause the video and kind of do what I've done here. Alright, and I hit finish. And I'm going to extrude that shape, and that shape, and that shape. And I'm going to take it all the way up, but not be a cut. I want it to be a new body. Now you'll notice that I'm not saying join. I want it to be a new body so that it's separate from the rest of the body, so that if I do lattice this thing can be solid and the rest of it can be a lattice. And I'll drag it up to about right there. That looks good, nothing special. It'll likely actually cause the bar of soap to lean a little bit, but that's okay. And that should be plenty for what we need. For the amount of weight we'll have on this thing won't be that much. So the creation that I have will be fine. I hit OK. And there we go. So assuming that I got the wire size right of the shower frame system, or the shower cuddy, that will work. And I always have control to come back and reshape this after we print it to actually modify it. Now, if I were just designing it just to go straight from printing right now, there's a lot of areas I could optimize. I don't need this much solid structure. I would thin out the wall. But where I'm probably going to go take this into a lattice and then lattice this zone and leave this solid, it will optimize the rest of the body without me having to do a lot of work. Okay, so creation made. Features cool, and overall shape's good to go. So there you go. Why don't you follow through on the tutorial and go from there. If you do want to print this, you obviously can. There is one area of optimization that I definitely need to do, and that's the fact if I am printing in this direction that you see, if I'm printing this way along the part, that way right there, I have to worry about the overhangs that are occurring right here because that will be upside on the side. So what should I do? Well, a quick and easy solution is to use your fillet command to get rid, or chamfer, to get rid of that pure overhang. So watch, by selecting that one zone with the fillet, I can change it to maybe 12. Too much, can't get that much out of it. How about 8? And I can fill in a lot of that zone without having to have support. Let's see if I can't go a little bit higher. 9, maybe 10. Too much. So 9 will allow this thing to not require a lot of support material right in there, and then I can decide what I want to do about that one. I could even turn around and do a little bit more of a unique merging there, because I don't want it, as it prints, I don't want it to build all the support material up just to get to that point. I'd rather eliminate that as much as possible. So let me try like 9.8. No, it's like 9.5. Nope. How about 4? Still not there. 3, 2. Nope. Looks like 9 is going to be it. 9.1. We at least got that much. Okay. So that's got as much of the overhang as I can take care of with the fillet command. The other way would be to try the chamfer, and it can work too. And also hasn't changed the design that much. Now, why am I not filling in this side? Well, I'm not printing from that side, and again, lattice structure will handle it. Okay, so there's your creation, something easy to do. If it is going to be latticed out, what I'll probably do is this. I will probably lattice out, I'll STA out this one separately by right-clicking on body 1 and saying save as STL, and right-clicking on body 2 and saying save as STL. That way I can lattice one and not lattice the other one. Alright, so there's a quick tutorial on making a soap bar hanger, and hopefully you learned a few little tricks there. We'll see you on the next one. Make sure to check out some of our other videos and social media stuff around additive manufacturing, generative fusion, and subscribe to our channel. We'll see you.